you ready to heal your mind, body, and soul from the inside out? Welcome to the Real Healing Institute show with Michelle Sinclair, divine healer and spiritual teacher, where spiritual transformation meets practical guidance to break free from limiting beliefs, subconscious pain, and energetic blocks. This is a powerful space for those seeking true healing and enlightenment. Michelle's teachings are rooted in her deep study of the Christ letters and the spiritual awakening that came from her unwavering dedication to divine truth. She helps individuals navigate their inner healing journey through subconscious soul healing techniques and spiritual teachings by uplifting the vibrational resonance of our thoughts, words, and actions that shape the very fabric of our lives. It is time to learn the profound understandings of universal love. The Real Healing Institute show starts now. Hello and welcome in. This is the Real Healing Institute show. My name is Michelle Sinclair. Today we're going to be talking about the real work, what it really takes to get to this place of enlightenment. If this is something that you've been seeking, I'm going to give you some practical examples of things that need to happen, the real work that actually needs to be accomplished. And I'm going to teach to you guys from the Christ letters, which is what I use here for teaching. So first we're going to start with the story. So I've had this enlightened experience and I'm like at the heights of this. And I've been up at my cabin for several days now at this point. So I decide, one day, whatever, I'm taking my dog for a walk through the forest. So we're walking on this path and I'm walking with bare feet. It's really nice on the path. The dirt is so soft. It's just so nice. It's warm out. It smells good. I'm picking blueberries, all the good, wonderful things. So, or maybe I was looking for blueberries. Anyways, so I'm walking on this path and the dog runs up ahead and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go down to this place that's a little farther. And I step out onto a different path. Now, as soon as I step out onto this path that is now made of sand and it's got like little rocks in it. And so I step on it and I go, oh, I don't like that. That hurts. That's what I say because I'm wearing bare feet. And I'm immediately told by the divine, no. And I was like kind of stunned by this intense reaction from the divine telling me, guiding me, because this is what I've been asking for. And I'm told no. It was like, oh, what have I done wrong? And it was saying, this might be a very welcome path, depending on where you were coming from. And just like notice that you just judged it. And then notice what happened to you when you did that. So everything's good, great, gravy, right? I'm walking on this nice soft path. I step on that path, all of a sudden, ooh, right? My body tenses up. Ooh, I don't like this. Oh, this path. And I take a couple steps and I'm judging it. And immediately, the heightened state that I had been in went away in that second. Like it was just immediately gone. But then, upon my lesson that the divine, spoke to me and told to me, then it came back because I was like, oh, you're right. Okay, I realized what I did. I judged something so harshly. And you might think, like, oh, it's no big deal. We're judging a path. But it actually is a really, really big deal. Think about this. If you're in heaven, are you going to be judging a path because it's too rocky, because you don't like it? You're not, because that path is not going to exist. So something previously had been set up in the mind, in the construction of a consciousness that then played out later on in life. And because of this reaction of, ooh, I don't like this, tension, tightness, pushing away of the life that's being presented to me at that moment. Ooh, I don't like this, push. I was then stopping the flow of the divine love that was meant to, and that is constantly flowing to us every single second. So I'm going to read to you something. This is so good. This is from the Christ letters. So if you have not experienced this book before, let me tell you, you can listen to it for free on YouTube and you can read it for free online. It is this one, if you happen to be able to see your screen, Christ Returns, Speaks His Truth. And I'm going to read to you from page 27. So this is right after, well, this was actually while Jesus was in the desert. So he's telling us about his enlightenment, right? Because if you read the Bible, what does it tell you? It says that he was, the angels were with him and that he was tempted of the devil. That's the totality of what they have to say about him in the desert. But yet this was where he went out and came back and the dude's enlightened now. So it's very valuable information, things that we actually need to know. And he was out there for 6 weeks. Lots came to him during this time. So first of all, he had this vision and he said, first of all, I saw a newborn babe as light. a life form of creative power. I've seen this too. When I work with my clients and we go back and we're doing spiritual, usually healing child trauma, things like this, when we go back and we work with these things, it's like, notice how much light there is. And there's so much light that's present. And then usually what happens is we regress back to a point where we see that the light has now dimmed. There has been some type of circumstance, something has happened, and things have changed, and now the light has dimmed. So as the baby grew into childhood and then manhood, I saw the pure light of the creative power gradually dimmed and then obscured altogether in him by a dense wrapping of chains and thongs. I'll explain what that is in a minute. I questioned the meaning of this vision, and there came to my mind a clear understanding which may be expressed in the following words. From birth to death, people believe and they insist that their five senses of sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste correctly predicate the reality of themselves and the universe around them. Therefore, because they draw their mind power direct from divine consciousness power, it is done to them according to their beliefs. Very important. It is done to them according to their beliefs. Now, each thong and chain represents personal habitual thoughts. As I read these here, just notice where they might apply in your life, because these are the chains that we need to and we must remove. This is the real work. So each thong represents a person's habitual thoughts, the responses to people and events, prejudices, hates, animosities, anxieties, sorrows, all of which bind him down and shut out the light from his inner vision, drawn from the creative power. So all of these things, all of the worries, the hates, the animosity, the sorrow, the prejudice, the judgments, these are the things that bind us down. This is the real work. Thus, he enters into darkness, but he doesn't even know it. He believes that he's growing up and becoming mature in the ways of the world, which will enable him to forge ahead and make good, become successful, the aim of most people on earth. In fact, the more mature he becomes and versed in worldly ways, the more densely do his chains and thongs imprison him with the grip of the grip of twin impulses of bonding and rejection. Bonding, I like this. Rejection, I don't like this. Think about any time that we think, oh, I don't like this. It's like we're pushing it away, right? Our body tenses up, tightens up, it pushes away, but we are not just pushing away that thing that we do not like. We are pushing away the life force energy that is flowing to us. We were pushing away the divine's gift for us. And if what we are experiencing we do not like, we must remember it was us that was the original creator of it. And therefore, in this moment, when this thing presents to us that we're like, oh, I don't like that thing, we can, instead of judging it and criticizing, we can ask ourselves, where did I create that thing? Was I afraid that that was going to happen? Was I, emotionally reactive about a certain situation or circumstance, or did I believe that this would happen? Anytime that we hold really strong emotional impulses, those things are creative consciousness forces. It truly goes out from us, imbues all the space that's all around us, and brings to us our reality, the things that we see. When I was up at my cabin and I'm at the heights of this enlightenment and I'm in the kitchen and I realized, this was when I realized, I thought, okay, so we're given free will. But what our free will actually is our choice to choose between hell and heaven all day, every single day, all the time, always. We get to choose. Are we looking at that thing and judging it and putting ourselves in hell? Or are we judging it in a favorable, beautiful way and putting ourselves in heaven? All day long we do this. We can go back and forth in 1 minute, judging something, loving something, judging something, loving something, back and forth a friggin' a million times, however much time we have to go back and forth with something like this of, oh, I don't want to do that, but I know I need to. Oh, but I just don't really feel like it. Okay, but I guess I better. Hell, heaven, hell, heaven. And this is all choices. And so as I'm realizing this, that our free will is our choice to choose between living in hell or living in heaven, in every single second, even though it doesn't necessarily feel that way, we do actually have the choice to decide what it is that we want. And upon realizing this, I was like, well, dude, obviously I'm choosing heaven. Like, obviously, that's why I'm here. And so I'm like, okay, so this is actually heaven right here and right now. We are living in heaven. And I look outside. Just as I'm looking outside right now, there's water outside my window right here. I'm in Oceanside at the harbor. So beautiful. That day I'm looking out my cabin window right there at the water. And what I notice is that my deck, my railing on my deck is sparkling like friggin' diamonds. And I'm like, how is it looks like it's made of diamonds. And then I had this, of course it is. You're living in heaven. Of course it is. And I understood then the streets of gold and all the things that they were talking about because our reality, it actually shifts, it actually changes before our very eyes. Before our very eyes, when we believe these things so strongly. And once we have pushed out all of this prejudice, hate, animosity, anxiety, sorrow, all of the things that bind us down and shut out the light that is within us. So ask yourself, what are you worrying about? Because if you're worrying, you have a belief. This is the real work. If you are worrying about something, you have a belief that things don't work out for you. That's not going to happen for you this time. That I don't know what it is, but you have some type of belief. If you are worrying about something, you have a negative belief. And it is your mental attitude that determines your entire life. And so if you have a belief that's, saying, oh, this isn't going to work out for me, you're right, it's not, because you're putting your consciousness power into it not working out for you. Not because you don't deserve it, not because you're not worthy, not because of anything other than you actually don't believe. And this is what he's talking about. From birth to death, people believe and insist that their five senses correctly predicate the reality of themselves. And so they base their life off of the things that they're just seeing, smelling, touching, feeling all around them and think this is life. But they don't question, how has this life come to be? When all of it is because of us. So with this vision that he had, he learned the most valuable aspect of existence. Man himself is born with all the potential to make a beautiful life for himself. But he, himself, by indulging in his selfish desires, his hatreds, he creates a prison of misery for himself with which there is no escape until such times he realizes the truth of existence. All the problems of harsh existence lay within the thought process of man himself. Whatever is sent forth from man's mind and heart returns to him in due course in some form or another. But remember that like always breeds like. Strongly emotional thoughts are consciousness seeds planted within a man's own orbit of consciousness, and these will grow, bearing a like harvest for his reaping. These are the fruits of free will. There's no way that a man may escape what he thinks, says, or does, for he's born of the divine creative consciousness power and is likewise creative in his imaginings. So whatever is sent forth from man's mind and heart returns to him in some form or another. It is like a consciousness seed, right? So when we plant a seed, let's think of an oak tree. Okay, so we've planted an oak tree seed. Well, how does that happen? How does this tiny little seed here all of a sudden turn into this giant, huge thing? Consciousness. It truly knows what it is. This seed is the knowledge of what it will become. And because it knows what it's meant to do, it will become that. Just like when we think about our body and all of the cells that we have in our body, each of them is the same, but they do different work. The only difference between a hair cell and a skin cell is the work that it's doing because it knows. It has consciousness, intelligence within it. Therefore, when we believe things in certain ways, here's a practical example, something that I have seen in my office. Let's say that you are a little child and in your family is a disease or an illness. And so you have an older person from your family now tell you, like, hey, man, you're going to end up with this. Well, what have they done but cursed you? By you hearing these words and by then believing in them, you have now set up the consciousness forms to create that very thing that you do not want. Whereas if you were to say, that ain't going to be me, man, then it ain't going to be you, man. That's truly the difference between that's not going to be me and that's going to be me. If you believe it is, it is. Now, here's the thing of this whole spiritual work, right? People decide, okay, well, that sounds really good. I want to do that. I'm going to start doing that. And then they do it for a day, or they do it for a week, or maybe they do it for a month, and they don't see anything truly happening. Even though things are happening in the realm, maybe not visible to your eyes yet, things are happening, but they don't see tangible proof with their eyeballs. And so they say this doesn't work, and they quit and they give up. Well, I have to say that this is a lack of faith, and that there is no real passionate heart, no real connection, commitment to the process. Then to that, it's not something that you're truly pulling out and really wanting, or you would stick with it. But when we don't get these instant results like we want here, right? We want instant results, right? You want to lose some weight. Well, you wanted to lose it yesterday. You don't want to wait. You want it gone right now. But these things, it's faith. It takes time sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. The more chains that you have off of you, the faster these things manifest. So if you are really wrapped up with chains, meaning you worry a lot, you got a lot of fear, you got a lot of stress, you got a lot of anxiety, there's not a lot of faith that things are going to work out for you. If you have that, then you have created this dense, thick, cloudy barrier all around you, and therefore you actually can't see the reality that's just on the other side of the denseness, the clouds that you've created for yourself. But you don't see it because you're in it. And when we're living our life, we just don't know, right? Here's an example. If you're a man listening to this, this won't apply, but if you're a lady and you've had a baby, right? The pain, it's so intense, you're in it, but the second that it's over, it's actually over. And you actually forget the pain. Like your body just instantly forgets it. And we can get into this where we want something to happen right now. We think it's not happening, but things are actually happening. But we're so used to what we feel like right now, we don't realize maybe the progress where we've come from. So if you're on a spiritual journey and you've been seeking, and you're like, I just don't know what to do, this is what you need to do. You need to get rid of anxiety. You need to get rid of all the fear, and you need to forgive the people and have no judgment towards anybody that you look at, other than looking at them as a loving soul. And when you get to that point, you've made it. You're then there. But here's the thing. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm there, I made it, oh, I whatever. But it's these little tiny hidden judgments that just pop up through our head all day long. And it's showing us not that we're not perfect, not that we're whatever, but just that there's still more work to do, that the work never ends, that we can continue to do this work every day. Let me give you an example. So I've been, I'm not, I don't look at people and judge them, right? If I see a homeless person on the street, I'm not thinking, oh man, whatever judgment. I'm thinking, okay, how can we help this person? I hope that they're okay, thinking things like this. Now, when I hear somebody else judging that homeless person, I'm like, oh, you should go get a job. Oh, you should go do this, whatever their judgments are. Then I found myself judging that person who was judging that person. And usually I would, correct it. And I would say, like, hey, man, you don't know their circumstances, or, whatever it is. But my judgment still was about another person judging another person. So I still had it, and realizing, like, okay, I can't even have that. I can't even have that. I could disapprove of it, and I could say, this isn't the way that we do it. But having a reaction of, oh, like, you're not a very good person for judging this person, was my initial thought of, like, oh, you're not very good. Why would you judge this poor, unfortunate person? This, like, sounds like, typical school, right? Let's take the kid who's got it the harshest at home and then razz them real good at school. That was how that came across to me, was like bullyish. Why would somebody do this? But I realized through my judgment that I was too judging this person for judging this other person. And maybe it plays a role. Maybe there's some part in here that needs to be seen. Maybe that person needs to judge so that they can later go on and realize, like, oh, wow, I judged that person really harshly. Maybe I should change that. But me wasting my time judging somebody else is truly that, is a waste of time. And then what's going to happen is I've now planted a seed, because I had an emotional reaction to somebody else's judgment. I planted a seed that is then going to come to harvest again. So then now in the future, when somebody else does that, and I can go, okay, well, I know why this is presenting to me, because I didn't like it when it came up the first time, and because I judged it, and because I pushed and created some resistance against it. So now it's coming back to me again to see, like, oh, what are you going to do with it this time? And so then when it comes up next time, then I'm going to go, right, I remember and I know exactly why this is happening. Because I judged that person for judging that person, and now it has come up and it's shown me again. And so, what am I going to do this time? Well, I'm going to choose to love that person because there's obviously something within that person who was judging that person that is unhealed, or they wouldn't judge somebody else. Which now, seeing that as a reflection, obviously there was something within me that was not healed to judge the person who was judging the person. So, the real work here is to go from the hellish thoughts that you have to the heavenly ones. So, what thought do you have? Let's start with a person in your life. Is there any person in your life that you feel like, I really need to forgive this person? Maybe you don't want to forgive this person. That's the one you really need to forgive. Is there anybody in your life or any hidden resentment or animosity that you have? Because none of these things are hidden. And so let's say that you have resentment. Let's say that you have a partner and you feel like, your partner has done something and you just keep it in your mind there and you're like, oh, how dare they? Oh, this little thing. And you keep building on that little seed and you keep building on it because every time that it comes up, rather than say no and correct it, you feed it. You give into it. You have more of an emotional reaction to it. And so you're feeding it a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And then pretty soon you're like, I don't know why me and my partner broke up. And I know why. It's because there was hidden resentment. Because nothing is hidden. And this person was picking up on it and they're going, oh, they're feeling a certain way. And they're more than likely sending that same energy back to you. They don't even know where it's coming from or why it's there, but because you've got this towards this person. But if you have resentment, then you don't have heaven. You've chosen to not have heaven. You've chosen to live in hell through a thought, through a judgment that you have. And how do you know that that judgment, that resentment that you have is even correct? Because oftentimes it's not. It's the truth. It's the truth for us, right? We feel this thing that has happened, that's the truth, but it doesn't mean that it's correct. It doesn't mean that it's the universal truth. Here's my example. Let's say your partner has come home and they didn't take out the trash, and that's their job. Usually they take out the trash, and so you had to do it today on top of all the other things that you had to do. And so you're like, oh, you're just kind of thinking like this, grumbly, little angry, whatever it is, when you don't know. Maybe your partner was about to go and do that. Maybe they had a really long day. Maybe they had a harder day than you and they're just exhausted and they're going to do it, but they were going to do it later. But rather than having a conversation and rather than, connecting and making things good, we just hold on to these resentments. We think, oh, I'm just not going to say anything. Whatever. I'm just not going to say anything. And then we go on about creating our hellish life, and we don't realize that we're the one that's doing it. That it's us that's been doing it this whole time. That we're having these judgments about situations that are true to us, but probably not true to the other people around us. And that is dictating and it's determining our life. So, one thing that I can say here is be divinely guided. What is it that you need to let go of? Asking, always asking. What do I need to let go of today? And then it's baby steps. It's doing the little things, one little bitsy at a time. And here, let me give you an example of this. So as I'm up in my cabin, walking down another road, maybe a different day, I don't remember. Anyways, I'm walking down the road and I'm like, so heightened. This state's just amazing. Let's go. Let's heal the people. Let's tell them all the universal truths so they can change their lives and make them better. Let's do all these amazing and wonderful things. So I'm like walking down the road and I'm like, divine, like, what should I be doing right now? Tell me something. And I hear just keep walking. And I'm like, what? That is so disappointing. Like I was hoping for like some deep, profound truth that had been coming through. I've been channeling things. They're all on my blog. I've been writing these profound, amazing things straight from the divine source, making everything all line up. And then I'm told just keep walking. What? This is disappointing. And so as long as I had the thought of this is disappointing, that's how long it lasted. Was that like 1 second was what? That's it? And then was told, I don't predict your future. I'm not a future teller. I don't have anything to do with that. But I can tell you what to do exactly right now. And if you do what you're supposed to do right now, all the time, checking in, asking, what am I supposed to do? You're going to be guided in the right way. You're going to end up where you're supposed to be. And I thought, wow, that was actually extremely profound. And how many times do we think about, our future and we worry about the future, or we, how's this going to be, or what's it going to be like? And we've wasted all of that time. We've planted all of those fearful seeds that are just bubbling up for harvest. And as we do this, what we don't realize is we don't need to do any of that. The more present that we can be in this moment, in the here and the right now, the more wonderful life can be. Because if we're here in the present and the present's really good, then what we're doing is we're planting more seeds of really good things that we are then going to experience as a harvest coming in later. We're going to experience the same thing again, the same emotion, the same heightened sense, this wonderful reason why we're all here. So, practical tip that you can do today: go and take yourself into a state of meditation, and this does not take long. When you're putting your mind into theta, and the reason why you do this is because your theta brain operates differently. It cycles just a little bit slower. And so when you do this and you go into your subconscious mind, you're taking away the conscious mind, and the conscious mind is telling you 700,000 things all at once, and the subconscious is just going to do what you want it to do. So take yourself into that meditation state, and then ask yourself, what do I need to let go of today? Do I have any hidden resentments? Do I have any animosity? Do I have any fear? What do I got to work on? What do I got to let go of? And then while you're in that state, understand what it is that you need to let go of, and then work to let go of that thing. Now, I have a series on YouTube called the Mental Cleanse series. Now, this is a mental cleanse playlist on my channel, which is The Real Healing Institute. So if you check out the Real Healing Institute channel, go to the Mental Cleanse playlist. This is free hypnotherapy sessions. This would be like, there's over 40 videos on there. So what do you need to let go of? Oh, it's anger. Okay, so then go and find the video that says anger on it, and it is going to guide you through a subconscious healing technique that is going to be able to relieve anger from you. Or is it sadness? Or do you need to heal your mother wound, heal your father wound? All of those are there. They're all available. You can even go into past lives. This is what I've noticed here recently working with the clients over the past couple months, is it seems like they've done a lot of this work. They've done the inner child healing, all of the trauma, they've healed it. And now they're looking for, they don't know, there's some type of block, there's something that's there, and going to past lives has been really helpful to them. And so there's also a past lives playlist. But if any of this has sparked your interest, or you feel like you need help working through your issues, I do all subconscious healing. So this is soul level healing. Nothing is conscious. We're sitting there, we're talking, and you're telling me what the issue is, but then we're going into a subconscious state. And through this subconscious state, there's instant relief from things like anxiety, depression, heavy, harsh, dense chains and thongs that have been put on you through your life, that you put on you, that you didn't even know that you put on you. You didn't necessarily choose it. Often it'll be children. Somebody will have said something to them. They will have been bullied. Their parents will have been abusive. They will have felt neglected. They will have felt unloved. Things like this has happened to them as a little child. Now they feel a certain way in their life, and they don't know that that's actually not them, because that little piece that they feel is just a way that they feel, and that's not actually them, but it's weighing them down. It's keeping them stuck. It's keeping them blocked and stagnant, and it's not helpful. And just upon seeing it, it can be relieved and healed. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in here today. This is the Real Healing Institute. My name is Michelle Sinclair. If you would like to know more, I have daily podcasts on YouTube that you could go and check out. And you can check out my website or follow me on any social media under therealhealinginstitute.com is my website, and the Real Healing Institute under all the other platforms. I would love to hear from you, and you can reach me through my website if you would like to work with me here in the future. Love you all so much. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Thank you for joining the Real Healing Institute show with me, Michelle Sinclair. Tune in every second and fourth Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com for more empowering ways to spread love and set yourself free. Together, we'll elevate the consciousness of the planet. Stay connected. Follow me on social media, subscribe to the podcast, and explore the Mental Cleanse series on YouTube. Ready to go deeper? Book a session with Michelle at therealhealinginstitute.com. Until next time, keep healing, keep growing, and remember, love is the only way.